All right, so what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. The time right now is 7:12 p.m. and the date is October 21st, 2024. Just wanted to hop on live real quick to do a more relaxed live stream. Usually I do these live streams about something political, something related to white supremacy, something related to, anti-blackness, something just to raise the consciousness of the people. But today I just wanted to talk about something that's a little bit more light and also related to the streets and what's happening in popular culture right now. And that's two things. Puff is in jail and Big Meech got out. And I saw this interesting thread in the Kali, and I haven't talked about the Kali since I did a live stream few months ago, maybe even a year ago, where they posted up my video about being in Albania. But I saw this thread on the Kali, right? Big Meech or P. Diddy, which black man did it better? And people are voting on it, right? Now, this is a small thread. It's only 2 pages, so I'm going to try to read through the thread and talk about the comments and everything like that, because I find this fascinating, right? I was talking to my wife a few days ago about P. Diddy's or Puffy's or Puff's impact on, hip-hop culture and black culture. And there's no way you can talk about hip-hop, the story of hip-hop over the last 30 years without mentioning Puff multiple times over multiple generations and iterations of the genre, right? And there's no way also you could talk about hip-hop without mentioning the impact that Black Mafia family, BMF, Big Meech himself, has had on the culture as well. Some people say the whole trap music genre when that started off had Big Meech not been in the clubs in Atlanta making it rain hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars per night and that sort of stuff. Huggy Wuggy jumped in. He said, hi, Huggy. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who's going to join this live stream and everything like that. But Big Meech is out of jail. And for people that don't know who Big Meech is, let's just briefly read through the Wikipedia page for Black Mafia family. Though I'm surprised Meech himself does not have a wiki page because he is a legendary figure. And I'm just going to make this clear for anybody. I am not from the streets. I'm not in the streets, never been in the streets or anything like that, but I am a big fan of hip hop. I'm a big fan of the culture. I'm black as hell, and I'm a part of the culture. So, there's no way you can talk about this stuff without having there's no way you can talk about hip hop or be a fan of hip hop and not have some sort of idea about Meech's presence as well. So let's just fill this in for all people who might join later or watch this later. So the Black Mafia family is a drug trafficking and money laundering organization in the United States. Interesting that they use the present tense is because I thought BMF was totally wiped out. So it was founded in 1985 in Southwest Detroit by brothers Demetrius Edward Big Meech Flannery and Terry Lee Southwest T Flannery. By 2000, it had established cocaine distribution sales throughout the United States through its Los Angeles-based drug source and direct links to Mexican drug cartels. The Black Mafia family operated from 2 main hubs, one in Atlanta for distribution run by Demetrius Flannery and one in Los Angeles to handle income shipments from Mexico run by Terry Flannery. The Black Mafia family under Demetrius Flannery entered the hip-hop music business as BMF Entertainment in the early 2000s as a front organization to launder money from cocaine sales and to legitimize itself. BMF Entertainment served as a promoter for several high-profile hip-hop artists and as a record label for their sole artist, Blue Da Vinci. Young Jeezy is how a lot of us also heard about BMF, because Jeezy was in pictures with Meech and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, if you're from the South, like I'm from the South, from Louisiana, Meech, Gucci, Jeezy, T.I., these are this is the holy trinity of Southern hip-hop music from my generation. Jeezy, Gucci, T.I. And we're going to put Wayne in there, of course. Wayne is a part of hip-hop, especially from the South. But I'm talking about Southern artists, like Wayne on another level. So, and I'm saying this as a Louisiana person, I don't even regard Lil Wayne as a Southern rapper no more. He's more than that. He's a rock star. Anyway. So Demetrius Flannery and the Black Mafia family became famous in hip-hop culture for their highly extravagant lifestyles. In 2005, the DEA indicted members of the Black Mafia family, ultimately securing convictions by targeting the Flannery brothers on a continuing criminal enterprise statute, and both were sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. Prosecutors alleged the Black Mafia family made over $270 million in the course of their operations, though some say it could be more. Anyway. That's Big Meech's background, just to let y'all know. And it's just so interesting, right? Like Suge Knight is in jail and he might be getting out. Puff is in jail. They notoriously had their East Coast, West Coast feud, and he's about to go in. And before I read the thread, I promise, I'm only going to be on live for about like 40 more minutes, but I just really want to read this verse from Bun B's classic song, One Day. I really want to read this verse for everybody out here because I always think about this. When I hear about brothers going to prison, coming out of prison, I always think about this Bun B verse. So I just want to spit some little poetry for y'all real quick. This world we living in, man, it ain't nothing but drama. Everyone wanna harm you. And New York niggas getting shot for bombers. Now they got you in the Palmer. They hand like California. Niggas with dubs are hydroponic. Marijuana. Gang banging got the ghetto hotter than a sauna. Down in Orange, my nigga Pop died on the corner behind a funky ass dice game. I saw him once before. I wish it was twice, man. I remember being 8 deep off in Chucky crib, letting us act bad, not giving a fuck what we did. When we lost him, I knew the world was coming to end, and I had to quit and letting that devil push me to a sin. My brother been in the pen for damn near 10, but now it look like when he come out, man, I'm going in. So shit, I walk around with my mind blown in my own fucking zone, cause one day you here, the next day you gone. Hell yeah. My brother been in the pen for damn 10. But now it look like when he get out, man, I'm going in. So yeah, I just always think about the cyclical nature of the penitentiary system in America and how it touches all black men. All black men can be victims of this cyclical, recidivist, predatory criminal justice system. When he go in, I'm coming. When I go out, he coming in. That's just the way it is, man. It's sort of like designed that way. Anyway, time for the show. Time for the show. So everybody who is here should know what time it is. Let's talk about it. Puff Daddy, music mogul, founder of Bad Boy Records, discovered probably the greatest rapper of all time, Notorious B.I.G., was on top of the game for many, many years, released multiple hit records by himself as well. Last year had a bombshell lawsuit released by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, accusing him of all sorts of devious, notorious deeds, the worst of all being a BBC cuck. Ugh. And yeah, basically now he's getting hit with lawsuits every single day. Some are becoming so notorious, accusing him of dealing with children and that sort of stuff. So yeah, Puffy is now locked up in jail in New York City, awaiting trial, which will happen next year. Big Meech and the Black Mafia family. There's a great documentary on Stars talking about the Black Mafia family as well. So I encourage everybody to go that out too. But I do not encourage anybody to go watch that BMF show with Meech Jr. That shit is horrible. That shit is horrible. So let's talk about this thread. Let's talk about this thread. Both flawed black men. Both took it to the top. Both probably gonna do the same amount of jail time. Which black man's rise and journey in America is more impressive to you? Now, when my gut reaction to this is Puff. Not condoning anything Puff did, and I'm not co-signing like all the stuff we've seen him do on camera, especially to Cassie. I'm not condoning anything Puff did at all. But when I think about it, right, Puff's impact on America, on the culture, is so deep. It's so deep. Like, regardless of whatever happens to Puff, we always have to at least thank him for bringing us Biggie Smalls. We always at least got to thank him for the Mary J. Blige albums that she dropped on Bad Boy. You get what I'm saying? We always got to thank him for so many hits that are ingrained in us if you really love this hip hop thing. You get what I'm saying? But then when I think about it too, Big Meech as well made sure everybody ate. Big Meech, I remember being 14, 15, 16, whatever, going on YouTube and watching that class video of Big Meech saying, we got all types of niggas around here. Fat niggas, skinny niggas, tall niggas, bald niggas, niggas with braids, but everybody eating. Ain't nobody hating on each other. Everybody trying to let the next man rise up. You feel me? Like Meech had, like, just from afar, you knew that Meech was a different type of nigga. He was a leader. You get what I'm... Meech was a leader, but all we've heard about Puffy is snake activity. All we've heard about Puff is basically this nigga is like, he's raping his artists, he's stealing their publishing, their masters and that stuff. It's rumors have been circulating that Biggie was basically about to leave Bad Boy, and that's the reason some believe Puff might have had something to do with Biggie's death. You get what I'm saying? So it goes really deep. I'm not going to give my vote until I finish reading the thread and maybe comments from people that up in the chat, anything like that. So basically, The first comment comes from this guy, Huda. He says, did what better? I think it's kind of obvious, but I think he's trying to be obtuse. So the next post comes from this guy called Roger King. He says, to be honest, none, if any, used illicit, evil, and criminal ways to come up in society. It shouldn't be heralded as something noteworthy. There are brothers who came up the hardworking, stand-up, right way. Lloyd Austin, Black West Point graduate, retired U.S. four-star general, and former CENTCOM commander, and now the first Black defense secretary, or a Colin Powell, or a Denzel Washington who broke barriers, not petty criminals. I think we can all agree, like, we should be looking up to upstanding citizens more than criminals. I agree, but that's simply not how the world works. In mainstream society, there are people that we admire who are basically the dirtiest human beings of all time. As Americans, we literally say our founding fathers are like people that we should admire and try to be like. George Washington is all on our money, literally owned slaves, took the teeth out of his slaves and put it in his own mouth when his got rotted out. Thomas Jefferson literally slept with a 14-year-old girl and got her pregnant multiple times. And yet we think that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Elvis Presley, et cetera, et cetera. In America, we have a mix. In America, we're just a highly, competitive, money-driven civilization where it's all about growth, gimme, what can I get? So I'm not gonna say like, it's impossible to imagine that people are admiring criminals, because criminals make America. Criminals are the bedrock of America. America was founded by criminals and is still run by criminals. Anyway. So this next person here said, this post is from I'm Black Man. He says, probably Malcolm or Martin or Frederick or Medgar or Baldwin or Du Bois or Reginald Lewis or Madam C.J. Walker or John H. Johnson or Berry Gordy or my great-grandfather didn't break the law and poisoned his own people, didn't rape people. He was born in Alabama in 1909 and raised a successful generation of kids and gave me game as a kid I use to this day. One of them got my vote, probably. Once again, always will salute our ancestors who fought for our freedom in some real tangible and political way through their lives, through their deeds, through their activism, all that sort of stuff. Nobody is like gonna say like, just because we're talking about who did it bigger, Meech or Diddy, we're somehow saying like, yeah, let's laud and uphold the criminals. Like, that's not the point of this. This is just fun thought experiments. It's no different than thinking about sports or who's the greatest rapper of all time, that sort of stuff. That's like, if brothers are talking about who's the GOAT, LeBron or Michael, and then some brother comes in, the real GOAT, Malcolm X, brother, the real GOAT, Kwame Nkrumah, brother. Like, come on, man, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. Anyway, the next post comes from Tuck God. He says they both provided thug motivation. Yes, to a lot, man. Like, just Jeezy's music alone got me through some tough times. Jeezy's music is like gym fuel. Like, when I be in the gym, nothing hits harder than that Recession album. You feel me? Like, come on, man. Like, and that we wouldn't have Jeezy if it weren't for Meech. Because I truly believe, like, Meech and Jeezy had some interactions. You know what I mean? Like, people go back and forth. I think Blue Cheese is called out, Jeezy is fake and that sort of stuff and all that. But come on, man, just Meech's impact alone on trap music is undeniable. Anyway, going here. Here comes the first real post talking about this issue in a real way. So, Puffy, by far. You don't have to worry about getting at every day and the feds watching you and either looking at death or jail. Puffy, just like many of these rich niggas, think they can do the same thing white men can do without any problems. Well, he was wrong. And that post was from King Poetic. I generally agree with that. Yeah, Puffy did it the legal way, got legal money and did it to the max. You get what I'm saying? Like, took the music industry and ran with it. You get what I'm saying? So I salute Puffy for doing what he did in the business, just the business side of it, because I still respect his hustle. Darina Horvath says hi. Hi, Darina. Shout out to you and everybody else who's going to tune into this live stream. So, yeah, I salute for getting that done. Yeah, and if I was to think about whose life would I want, of course I would want Puffy's life more than Meech, because Meech could have died any day that he was in the game. Different than Diddy. Diddy, generally was not going to be hurt after the East Coast, West Coast war. All right. Yas says, thank Beyonce. I don't know what you mean by thank Beyonce, but expound on that, build on that. And continuing here. OP, you really lame as F, and lucky you live in a gentrified New York City. You deserve that gem star work for real, for real. Okay, the Kali always got beef. I don't know exactly what they're talking about. But going back to King Poetic's post, he made a very good point. Diddy is caught up in everything he's in right now because he thought he could do the same thing white men can do. There's the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. I want everybody to look this up. The CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was accused and had a lawsuit filed against him because he was flying out male models and forcing those male models to let him suck their dicks. And he was like raping them. Him and another guy who were working for Abercrombie and Fitch. And Abercrombie and Fitch was notorious for having those advertisements where they were basically, shirtless, barely legal people with like ripped bodies, in their stores advertising the clothes, even though they're not wearing them, right? So the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was basically the same thing Puffy was doing, tricking people into thinking, hey, you want to get into this industry? Instead of Puffy getting his dick sucked, the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was saying, you want to get into the industry, let me suck your dick unwillingly to these young boys that were getting out. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, but that guy's not in jail. Vince McMahon is not in jail. But Puffy is in jail. Now, once again, I'm not defending Puffy at all. I'm pointing out the double standards, the white supremacist hypocrisy. The white supremacists control the criminal system, the court system. They say, we want to protect women. We want to protect society against sexual predators like Diddy. Meanwhile, you had Jeffrey Epstein running around all across the country, hobnobbing with high-powered officials, and people, didn't know about it until Netflix did a documentary. That don't make no sense. That does not make any sense. Continuing here. Let's continue. So, somebody else says, all right, Diddy grew up rich and went to an all-boy Catholic high school. This was from Newark Hip Hop. He left this comment here. So I guess he's trying to say that, Diddy isn't worth, looking up to as an idol who got it out the mud and a grinder, or a person who gave, thug motivation, because Diddy had it easy. You get what I'm saying? But that's not, how I generally knew Diddy. Like, as far as his story, like, he might have went to this all boys private Catholic school, but some people get, those scholarships to be able to better their educations as a jit. All right, so Yas says, what really Diddy did to Justin Bieber? I don't know, but I do think Justin Bieber was, blowing, what's his name? That football player. I forgot his name, but there was this video out of Justin Bieber, like he was giving sloppy toppy to some big black football player in the club. Yeah, those Diddy parties were weird. I am not excusing the Diddy parties. We're just talking about the hustle and the grind to get there. Because Diddy wouldn't have been able to throw those parties if his grind wasn't off the charts. If his grind was not off the charts, or his business acumen was not top notch. Continuing here. So Finesse says, Puff, the son of a Harlem drug dealer, homie wasn't called tanks. That was a reply to Newark Hip Hop. I'll let y'all see it right here. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing. Like, from my understanding of Diddy's biography, his father was a drug dealer in Harlem who got killed when he was very young. And so then Diddy grew up, basically with his mother as a single child. I don't know if he's got siblings or not. But yeah, his father died when he was very young, and that probably haunts him, to this very day. But yeah, some people are making good points. More of the good points come on page 2. Continuing here. Diddy grew up rich and went to an all-boys Catholic high school, says Newark Hip Hop. And Maximusa says, if that's true, what's your point? Yeah, exactly. Like, I think even if it's silver platter in America, unless your family were millionaires, it's very hard to reach billionaire status, like Diddy did. He might have grown up in this middle-class household with everything like that, but he still made a level that is very, very hard for anybody to do in America, let alone a black man. You get what I'm saying? Darina Horvath says hi again. Hi, Darina. How are you? Continuing here. So Big Meech, at least, he didn't rip you off. He made sure everybody ate. This was said by T-Dub, okay? And yeah, once again, Big Meech, is not known as like a dirty guy in the streets. His name is still clean. And the thing is about Meech now, he's gonna be able to come out from his experience with a name intact. And I think no matter what happens to Puff, he's gonna come out of this situation with a dirty name. Diddy will forever be like next to Pause. Instead of saying Pause, people will say no Diddy. You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to want to associate with him, even if he walks away from this beating all the charges like Teflon Don. That wouldn't make, it wouldn't be a good look. And it's different than like Chris Brown. Chris Brown's situation, he got out of jail. I mean, he didn't get out of jail, but he basically was on probation, but he kept making hit records. And unfortunately, we live in sexist America where if you slap a woman, that's not as bad as raping a child, as like what Diddy accused of right now. So eventually, smaller R&B artists started collaborating with Chris Brown after his fiasco with Rihanna. Rappers started collabing with Chris Brown after his incident with Rihanna. Hell, even Rihanna said that she forgave Chris Brown after he abused her. We haven't seen somebody accused of pedophilia to the degree that Puffy has had in hip hop and have people say, yeah, I want to continue to be around him. Now, I might want to walk those words back because as soon as they came out of my mouth, what you're thinking already, R. Kelly. R. Kelly. That's the R. Kelly situation for a long ass time. A lot of people saw that tape that was circulating around and stuff like that. A lot of people knew that R. Kelly was a predator. And he, somebody who was interested in young girls, not children, but like young girls, 13, 14, etc. Married Aaliyah while he was 15, yet still hip hop associated with him. But I don't think the same thing could happen for Diddy because he doesn't have the level of talent that R. Kelly did. That's the difference. That's the difference. Diddy's talent is rested upon solely if other people are talented around him. Like a DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled can't drop an album this year because all the rappers are beefing. Drake don't want to work with Kendrick, don't know where to go. Wale is somewhere off, high off medication pills, meditating and stuff and Big Sean's album flopped. You get what I'm saying? So Khaled is left trying to get Rick Ross and Fat Joe to do their 15th collaboration with maybe a Jadakiss. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with Diddy. If Diddy is not able to get all the talented people around him, the writers, the engineers, the rappers, the singers, all in that same room because they don't want to be tainted by his brand, then it's not going to work out. You get what I'm saying? So wait, R. Kelly didn't need that. R. Kelly could go in the studio by himself and just make hit after hit after hit after hit because he really got that. He really got it in him. Anyway, so regular developer says neither to me. Sorry. Okay, well that's his opinion. So then Rick Belly 83 says Diddy got to hobnob with the rich and famous, including big time politicians. Was worth $1 billion or close to $1 billion. Diddy had a run that lasted decades. Was a pop cultural icon. Meek is only relevant to hood folks. Okay. Yas says, why did Big Meech kill Diddy's bodyguard? That's a very, 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 very good point. I wasn't even going to talk about that. But some say that the East Coast, West Coast war didn't start with Tupac getting robbed in that elevator in New York. It really started Wolf, who was Diddy's best friend and bodyguard, got killed in a club in Atlanta because Suge Knight had beef with Jermaine Dupri in Atlanta, and Suge Knight slaps Jermaine. Diddy is there, and he sort of tries to defend Jermaine, and then there's a big scuffle outside of the club, and then it ends up with Suge Knight's homie killing Diddy's bodyguard, Wolf, by shooting him, right? Now, I don't know if that had an association with BMF, like if that was a BMF party or something like that. That's my understanding of the story. Once again, I'm Trap Lord Ross. This isn't DJ Vlad. I'm not the guy with all that knowledge in my head because honestly, this is like entertainment to me. I hate to say that, people's murders and deaths are entertainment, but unfortunately, that's what it is in America, right? Like that's how it works. So, I've heard things that Diddy and Meech had some passing interactions and stuff. I heard this story from Gene Deal that says when Meech wanted to get Diddy's attention, he parked a bunch of Rolls Royces in front of Diddy's Maybach to say, no, BMF is out here. You're not the only, big and dick outside. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard, yes. But if you got more information about Meech killing Diddy's bodyguard, Wolf, y'all let me know. Let me know. Put it in. Anyway. So yeah, Diddy had a run that lasted decades, and he got all clean money, got to hang out with politicians, multiple pictures with Obama. The thing is though, Diddy was hanging out with all the politicians, the high-level people, but there have been rumors that Diddy was an FBI informant. Diddy was a snitch. Now, Meech ain't never snitched as far as I know. as far as I know. And we'll always put non-snitches over snitches any day. You get what I'm saying? And it's not because I'm some street nigga or I follow some street code. It's because we don't want to put any black people in the white man's jail. We don't want to send anybody to jail in America, period. Unless they're white supremacists. We want to make sure the people that do dirt get by their own selves. You don't snitch on people. You don't purposely put another black man in white man's hell. Never. And I wrote about this in my piece, Pushin' P, featuring Simon, or whatever I titled it. Pushin' P featuring Bun B, what I titled it. Go check out that piece on my channel. Anyway, continuing here. So TEH says, in reply to Finesse's comment, this comment here, he says, Puff, the son of a Harlem drug dealer, homie wasn't Carlton Banks. And TEH says, Diddy's father worked for Frank Lucas. He was notorious in the streets. To answer OP's question, scum and fuck your feelings. Okay, yeah, both are pretty gnarly individuals. Like, you know what, I would like to take that selfie with Big Meech, not with Diddy right now. But yeah, I would, Big Meech stay in my house like that. You get what I'm saying? Maybe I'd have like a, dinner with him and get some game and stuff like that. But, man, he's a criminal at the end of the day. Anyway, here's a clip right here I'm gonna play. Resurfaced clip from Martha and Snoop's potluck episode shows Diddy saying what his last words would be. Let's check it out. Hold up.
So you, nephew, take the top card. When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it.
Oh, okay. You're Lala. Okay.
All right, see, the reaction from people around the table shows that they sort of know, like, Diddy be saying, like, did it when he was, like, in the middle of, like, a orgy with, like, 30 buff dudes from Brazil. Like, the way they're looking all uncomfortable, it's like, we know how this man is behind closed. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's really odd to look at it, but still, to the public, to the people that were watching from afar and only hearing the rumors and stuff like that, we were thinking, at least for me, I was thinking like, he might be a slimy dude in the industry, robbing people for their publishing and masters and stuff like that. But it's no different than like when the white man does it. You get what I'm saying? And in that industry where it's nothing but sharks, you got to be a shark to stay alive. So yeah, not trying to excuse what he did, but it's more of like understanding why he did what he did, like, People's Publishing, and why like the locks were like throwing chairs at him and stuff like that, like give us back our rights and stuff. So, but speaking of the locks, where's Jadakiss right now? Jadakiss, Styles P, Sheik Luch, everybody that knew Diddy really for many decades been hella quiet. Fabulous, you get what I'm saying? So anyway, somebody else says Field Marshal Bradley, in response to the comments earlier about, these guys being criminals and how they got their funds illicit and all that stuff. He says, so you hate America, basically, because illicit means is the only way America came to be. Just saying. That's what I said earlier. But yeah, going to the next comment. Ghost Utmost says, who did quote unquote it? Whatever it is. Big Meech is an epic in the streets. He is going to be able to live like a king from now on as long as he stays clean. Puff became a mogul, but no one has ever invoked his name as someone to look up to. He's no hero. He succeeded in spite of his intrinsic corniness. I gotta say, like, whatever podcaster gets Big Meech on the first, million views in the first hour. If it's Vlad, if it's $1 million worth of game, if it's Joe Budden, if it's academics, whoever, Adam 22, whoever gets that first big feature is gonna kill it. It's gonna kill it. And I hope he goes to a real reputable platform. And honestly, I think there might be no better place than Vlad, because Vlad has interviewed the other people in BMF. That's not me trying to cape for Vlad, for anybody out there who, thinks Vlad is a culture vulture and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just saying, Vlad knows the topic well. He knows the history and the topic of BMF very, very well. But I wouldn't mind a special edition of like 50 Cent sitting down and having that conversation with Big Meech. I think that would be hella dope. If on YouTube, 50 Cent sits down for an hour and just asks him questions about his life and what he thinks about everything that's happened since he's been gone and stuff like that, I think that would be hella cool. All right, so anyway, Mac10 says, Meech, ... He fed his entire team all the way down to the garbage man. Didn't do good by his people, and that's why karma caught up to him. That might be facts. That might be big facts. I think those are very, very big facts. I mean, when you think about it now, what it comes down to between Meech and Diddy is like more in power. What's more important, money, power, or respect? And for Meech, if you select Meech, you're saying that respect is the most important thing in life. If you're picking Diddy, you're saying that money or power is the most important thing. But I think what we're going to see in the long run is that respect trumps money and power. Because if you have respect or fear, I'll throw fear in there. I think having fear and respect are definitely the ways to maintain or keep power. And that's the thing. I think Meech, to some degree, is also somewhat feared and respected. And that's going to go a longer way if Meech continues to live in life, right, than Diddy's money and power. Because his money is getting sucked dry by all of these lawsuits. And he literally has, his power has been siphoned off since the Cassie lawsuit. Like, it's zilch, none. He can't pal around with Jay-Z and Beyonce no more. No more private jets with Ariana Grande. None of that, none of that. That's never coming back. No matter how much money he even gets back, the respect on the fear is gone. You get what I'm saying? Diddy had a little bit of fear, but I feel like Diddy never had respect. Diddy had a lot of money, power, and fear, but respect trumps all. This is the sort of lesson that I'm sort of looking at right now as the situation unfolds right now. Respect trumps fear, money, and power. I'm gonna go here. So Finesse says, low key, that may really be the differentiating factor between the two men and why I myself would actually give Meech the nod. See, people are going on to the Meech camp. So that's Finesse replying to Mac 10 about Meech fed his entire team and basically respected people, or had respect toward. So in Meech's story, it was all about family, the team and brotherhood. Everybody was living like a star. In Puff's story, it's all about himself and how he could use the people around him to put himself in a better position in life and achieve all his desires. On paper, Puffy actually did better, but the way he went about it was all wrong. And like you said, this may all just be chickens coming home to roost for him. You can tell Puff ain't really see people as human beings, but as tools that he can use. Even down to his relationship with Cassie. She was just a sex object to him, not an actual girlfriend, or even a friend at that. Diddy truly lost his mind in the game. Facts. If I was on this forum, I would definitely like upvote this and give this dude like, or whatever, because Diddy got lost in the game. Diddy got lost in the game. He got too fat on the hog. Had delusions of grandeur, and basically thought he was God on earth. One of the most interesting books that I think could be written, and maybe I'll write it one day, is like, imagine an alternate world where the 5% ideology is sort of like a secret hidden ideology that mega rich black people have in a world where black men are like men are in our universe. Think about that. If you know, you know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Just imagine a universe where 5%er ideology is like the prevailing behind closed doors ideology of CEOs, the president, et cetera, and all of them are black men. The most powerful people in the world are all 5%ers behind closed doors, and all of them look like the starting lineup of the Denver Nuggets. Anyway, I'm going to go to the comments here. Yas says, Diddy and Big Meech involvement in Wolf's death, they were together. That's the thing. I've never heard that Meech exactly was involved, but I know Meech was heavy out in Atlanta. And so if there were major parties that were happening, especially with celebrities like Japri, Suge Knight, Diddy all together, I'm pretty sure Meech's presence would be felt. So yeah, Diddy didn't see people as human beings. On paper, he did it the way it should be done. He did it to the max. He balled out of control, but he balled until he fell. They say ball till you fall, but don't fall like Puff. Like Puff's rise and fall is damn near Greek tragedy level. You get what I'm saying? This is on the level of like Iliad, the Odyssey, like Shakespeare, Julius Caesar, like the way Diddy rose and fell so traumatically, so grandly, is something that like you could write a Shakespearean play about, a novel, novella about a man who rose from poverty, literally molded the culture that shaped a generation of people through his own force and will, became so intoxicated on power that he fell to the most depraved state a man can go into. thinking that you can do no wrong, you can pay people off, money can secure you in all sorts of wrongdoings. That's the level of depravity that Diddy reached. Anyway, gonna go to Dion Don. Dion Don says, neither made it out clean, logically. Puff enjoyed his wealth and fame longer, well into his 50s. But being an old nigga in jail got to suck, especially after the wealth he enjoyed, and he might get Epsteined all the secrets. If Meech hid some money away, he can live out the rest of his days. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know what they say about drug dealing, right? Like, are these 5 years of balling worth 10 years of falling or 10 years in jail? You get what I'm saying? Are these years of balling worth 10 years in jail? Are these 10 years of balling worth 30 years in jail? You get what I'm saying? Like, however long you're dealing drugs or coming up in the game, whatever you're in illicit where you're stacking your cheese, you're going to have to pay that back 3 times over. Because the white man don't let us leave out here with it. We stack up all this money. We risk our lives for all this paper, all this fetty. And the white man don't let us leave with none of it. They pass it down to their kids. They build generational wealth. And the niggas is left with nothing. Nothing at the end of the day. Except an endorsement deal if you're lucky. If you're a rich nigga. The rest of us got to scrape by. You feel me? So, yeah, that's the thing. He got to ball for 30 years and now might have to spend the rest of his days in jail. Or he might get a natural life sentence, which is a 30-year sentence. 60-year sentence. Something like that. No counts running concurrent. That's the thing that might happen with Puff. And that I could not imagine having everything and then being trapped in a, 10 foot, 8 foot cell. 10 by 8 foot cell, something like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, so Finesse says here, Finesse is really involved in this topic because I like this topic, man. I know some people don't want to touch it because it seems like low and crass, but I think this is an interesting topic, and he'll have the final comment for this live stream. He says, truth be told, Meech don't even have to hide. Truth be told, Meech don't even need to have hid money. The bag he is about to get just for being himself is going to carry him for the rest of his life. Shoot the bag he's probably getting from the show alone. He might be getting money from the BMF show, that horrible BMF show on Stars that 50 Cent is producing and Meech Jr. is acting in. You know what I'm saying? A Big Meech might be getting a bag just from that. Just for being who he is. Just for having respect. Just for having respect and fear. You can live off your name. That's powerful. That's the lesson. That's the lesson in life. See, some life lessons take a long time to play out and for us to learn from them. And what we learned from Diddy today is that money don't mean nothing. Power don't mean nothing. It's all about respect and fear. And anyway, that's the end of the thread. That's the end of this live stream for today. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. I hope this is a topic we can build on in the comments. Let me give a shout out to everybody that jumped in here. Dorina Horvath, Yas, and Huggy Wuggy. And anybody else who's watching, shout out to you. Thanks for listening. And y'all be easy out there. Peace.